Hi, and welcome to our podcast, The Journey to CEO Success. I'm your co host, Melissa Saunders, along with Patrick Thean, award winning serial entrepreneur, CEO coach, and a Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestselling author. His latest book, The Journey to CEO Success, is an Amazon bestseller and the inspiration for the show. Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Melissa. Thanks for welcoming me today to the show. It's awesome.
Yeah, no problem. And I'm excited to welcome Sean Farrell, CEO of QDS, a company that powers financial and retail operations through innovative cash automation and technology solutions. Known for his blend of operational discipline and people-first leadership, Sean has helped scale QDS from a family-owned business into a trusted national partner for banks, retailers, and service providers. Hi, Sean. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Melissa. Good to talk to both of you. Patrick, good to see you as well, my friend.
Yeah, welcome, Sean. Welcome to our show. And we love talking to guys like you who have grown a family business into a growing, good, strong mid-market company. And that's exactly what you've done. Over the last 4 decades, your company has grown to 100 employees, serving 350 customers, I think, from communities across more than a dozen states. So I would love for you to just take a couple of minutes and share about the company before we talk about your journey.
Sure. So my dad founded the company in 1983. We are based in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I joined the business in 2003, and we have grown really from a 2-state operation into a 14-plus state operation, have grown from roughly 30 people to about 130 people over the last 10 years, and we focus on serving our clients with financial automation technology, so hardware, software, and field services. So almost half, if not over half, of our company is involved in our field service operation to take care of our clients where they are.
And you're a business to business concern, yes?
Yes, our end user is typically banks, credit unions, and then retailers, and then we help them take care of their clients. So definitely B2B.
Great. So tell us how you started your journey. Your dad started the company. Did you know you were going to be part of this business when you were growing up, or how did that work?
I absolutely did not think I was going to be part of the business. I was a baseball player growing up. Had a wonderful opportunity to go play baseball at the University of North Carolina. Had a really good career there. Got drafted by Oakland. So spent 1 season in the minor leagues. Kind of hurt my shoulder. So I came back to QDS while I was rehabbing. Shoulder never really got better, and kind of fell in love with sales. And as a very competitive person, I just found that getting that sale or closing that deal felt very much like hitting a home run. And so it was a good transition for me into the business.
I'm going to interrupt you right there because I'd love for you to share a little bit about when you got injured. I'm sure it was devastating, right? I'm sure it was painful, not physically painful, but of course that too. But your dreams of being a baseball player kind of ended with the career-ending shoulder injury. So how does one recover from such a disappointment?
Yeah, I guess as a bit of a pragmatist, coming off of playing a full college season and then playing another 76 games in minor league ball, living, sleeping on the floor of a bus, and I always had confidence I could likely make it to AA, and you just come to this reality of, hey, my shoulder is never really going to be the same. Do I really want to go through this grind of minor league baseball where very few people make it to the show? And the money in baseball was dramatically different back in 2003 versus it is today. But I really just fell in love with that sales component. So I hate to say it was a quick transition, but just I had a sense of reality of, man, it sucks. It's not going to happen. But I was living on $700 a month in the minor leagues and making, $4 or $5, $6 grand a month as a straight commission salesperson. It was a much better way of life in the short term, for sure.
Yes, but you had to give up a dream to take on another dream. Yes,
that's true.
Yeah. And I think there's a real skill in that, because I know a lot of people that are kind of stuck when they have a disappointment, and you're able to get beyond that quickly and move on.
Yeah, I think one of the benefits was I had success relatively early, and so you kind of build that next muscle, and it's like, oh, well, this, and I think it a lot goes back to purpose. And one of the things as we talk about kind of the deeper life impact is, as a young 20-something, you may not really have resonated with your purpose yet, but you start to really feel meaning and impact in what you're doing. And while there was a dream, certainly, to be a Major League Baseball player, starting to be in a role that was having impact and then growing through leadership, that impact continue to grow, and you really start to discover your purpose. And that's a lot of what I live in today as a leader, is really stepping into my purpose and serving others.
So and thank you for doing that. I'm sorry to have interrupted you, but I guess I'm not, because I really wanted to glean that nugget for our audience here. So tell us, as you got into this business, what would you expect to go from that to your dad's business? Did you consider something else?
No, I mean, I really just got into it after the transition, and had it started having success early. So as we progressed out of the gate, we got a couple years in. Then there was kind of a more formal discussion of like, well, all right, how do we want to do this? Because at the time, my dad and myself were the only two salespeople, so we got a little more organized. I took South Carolina, he took North Carolina, and kind of the snowball continued to go. And then I really looked to move us more into complex systems. So kind of looked at what we were doing today in the business and how could we take that next step and gain some knowledge, gain some training on some things, and really try to propel us into more systems-based technology versus kind of the money counters you may see in the movies or whatnot. The dollar bill counters was a lot of what we did in that time. Now we were moving into devices that were more like 20, 30,000, upwards of 50, 75,000 now. So it really gave our business a platform to grow on, and really just fell in love with sales and kind of the business strategy mindset. And as a former captain in baseball, like, you're always looking for opportunity. And I think that was something else that I really resonated with.
So when did you take over as CEO of QDS?
It was relatively early on. So 2012, got named our CEO. We had a company that was interested in acquiring us, and it was the first time my dad had seen a non-owner CEO. And so as we started to talk about our transition, we had gone through a couple growth cycles. I talk about getting my master's through 2008 through 2010 as the market crashed and all of these things. As an athlete and a competitor, I had heard a lot of yes. And now all of a sudden through those years, everyone was saying no, and we're just trying to keep our institution open, and what is going to happen here. So I would say that was really a lot of my MBA from there. And then 2012 hit, became our CEO, and it really kind of established I hate to say our succession plan for the future of, all right, how are we going to do this thing, and how are we going to continue to build on our success? And it was off to the races from there.
So share with me, how was it working with your dad? Did you enjoy that? Was that, yeah.
We did. I think family businesses can be a very tough dynamic, and I would say I was blessed. Dad and I got to work 19 years together. I'm going to say we agreed 90+% of the time, which was good. And certainly as we got towards the end, as he kind of approached retirement age, I just want to give him credit for being very much like, hey, at the end of the day, it's going to be your decision. This is going to be yours. So he had every opportunity at that point as the majority owner to say, no, we're going to do it my way. But pretty much at every opportunity, he was gracious and said, it's ultimately going to be your final decision. So if that's what you want to go with. So it was really blessed. We worked together again for 19 years, certainly through ups and downs, but we were definitely more on the up as we kind of rounded out. I think he exited in 2022. So it was a great run and very enjoyable. Not a story that everyone can claim, for sure.
No, I think that is rare, and that is wonderful. You are so blessed. I would love to see if you could share a couple of lessons of what it's like to work for your dad, and or rather some advice to some folks from what can you do as the child working for the parent or working with the parent to make it joyful? Because, I get a lots of opportunities to ask the other side, like, hey, how did you make it work for your child? But from your perspective, working with your dad, what did you do? And then what did your dad do to make it such a enjoyable experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, you've got someone who was very much willing to take care of people. So early on, I got to see a long track record of kind of the family environment. We're going to take care of our people. Service was a fundamental foundation, honesty and integrity. So there was this long track record of these are the types of values and who we are that I can really resonate with. And then I think you learn complementary skill sets. So my dad was kind of the typical type A dominant type founder, hard charger, like very motivated. I'm very competitive and aggressive, but probably a little more emotionally aware. So I started paying a lot more attention to the people and trying to understand their perspective. And here's some of the dominoes that may fall if we make that decision. So I think that was really what I learned is how do I learn his strengths, which he was a good decision maker, probably good at terminating people when they needed to be terminated versus I would probably always extend grace too long. So I think understanding when people are not meeting the mission and the values that you portray, how to have those tough conversations, and it's better to part ways sooner rather than later.
Yeah. And you want to do both, like you said, you want to be able to hold both competing ideas in your head, because I think some people think that to choose one or the other. They think, oh, if I'm going to have the tough conversation, I'm not valuing people, but actually you are valuing both results and relationship at the same time.
Yeah, especially on that note, I think I really learned the impact of the weight on the team. So, once we got 30, 40, 50 people, I went through some of those tough conversations and some of those exits of employees. And then, of course, people come out of the woodwork and say, well, thank God you finally got rid of so-and-so, or why did it take you so long? And it's like, well, why didn't you say something? Like we're trying to be right and take care of people, but everyone else was having to pick up the slack or the misgivings of this particular employee. And many of them have carried it for years. So they're just waiting. And I learned that people pay attention to what you tolerate. And that is one of the golden lessons I've learned in leadership is, no matter what you espouse or what you talk about, people pay attention to what you'll tolerate.
Tell me what you mean by that. People pay attention to what you tolerate. Share a bit deeper on that.
Yeah. So when you think about, we operate as a faith-based business. We are very big on our core values. So it's one thing to love people and operate by those core values. But on the back end, people are watching. And do you play favorites? Are you willing to keep a successful salesperson who may treat the operations side of the house not so good and become kind of a toxic employee? So I always say people will pay attention to what you tolerate and what excuses you as a leader will make for performance, especially if they're a top performer. If they are not following the values and you as the leader will, I hate to say, go to the idol of performance and say, oh, well, we'll just handle it for them on the back end and we'll smooth things over. I very much learned that people, again, pay attention to when are you willing to part ways with someone? When are you willing to hold someone accountable? And as an Enneagram 9, that is not always easy for me to do. I would much rather be the encourager and the grace giver than the tough person. But I've certainly learned over time the impact that can have on the team.
In my book, right, the CEO's Journey to Success, 7 key practices. I think it's practice number 6 talks about building the right people ecosystem around you. And the people ecosystem is the whole ecosystem. It's your customers, your suppliers, and all that, but also your employees. And I talked through how important it is to create the right environment for your people to succeed. And like, I love what you said about people notice what you tolerate. I see that QDS was named, best place to work. Congratulations. Best place to work 2023, 2024. 11th overall top workplace in Charlotte by the Shaw Observer. First overall in values out of more than 2,000 companies. So I want to congratulate you and your team for doing that. Share a little bit about that, because clearly that was important to you and you've built the right people ecosystem for your people to thrive. So share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, and we actually won now in 2025. We're actually going to the dinner to celebrate this Wednesday, so 3 years in a row. The Values Award was special. So you
Congratulations,
mentioned,
man.
thank,
Congratulations.
thank you. That one was special because it was a surprise, and again, we were the number one ranked out of all of the companies for our employees thought that we operated by our values. So knowing that culture and our values, I believe, are unique and important. That definitely got the waterworks going at the event, and it was certainly a blessing for that. But I think it just goes back to people understanding you seeing them as the whole human and not just the employee, and that is a big part of our people-centered culture. Is, I believe in an integrated life. I believe that there is life outside of work, and I would love to be a part of improving their overall life, not just making them the best employee possible. Because if there's trouble at home, they are not going to show up and be
Yeah.
productive at work. And if we can help them be successful humans, and we our purpose statement now involves the word flourishing, because I think flourishing is different than success. Or if they're truly enjoying their work, they're highly productive, they're growing their finances, as well as being able to be intentional at home and raising their kids, or having a strong marriage, or however that works at home. Those are all things that we focus on mentorship here at QDS. I think has been a big part of our people-centered culture.
Can you share one or two practical lessons or practical things that our audience can do to achieve that kind of flourishing, joyful, and successful life for the families?
Yeah, so a couple things. One is the most basic step is that saying thank you. So do the people understand that you see them and appreciate them? And if you can even be specific with those thank yous, as opposed to thanks for all you do, but hey, Patrick, thanks for staying late 3 nights this week to ensure we could get this deadline done. That made a huge impact on the project. I am grateful for that. So saying thank you is one huge practical step. And then I would say recognition in general, and just training that across the organization. We have a platform here that allows everyone to shout out one another across the company. And a company our size now at 130 people, we can't see everything that's going on here from corporate. So having the opportunities for others to say, hey, so-and-so really shined on this install, or so-and-so took great care of this client, and then other people can chime in on that. So I am a big fan of kind of recognition. And then I also subscribe to John Ruhlin's theory of giftology, and we've done some unique gifting with our employees as well. I've got a big story about custom suits for some service leaders. And
tell us the story about
yeah. So
yeah.
these were 4 guys at the time that have certainly gone above and beyond. They're on call every weekend. So the theory was a cash bonus was really just gonna evaporate. And so how do I really recognize the effort of these people? So I elected to get them all custom suit packages, with the goal of none of them would have to wear a suit at work. And so the process of going through picking that out and them getting fitted, and then when they get to try it on a couple weeks later, and now I get the blessing of knowing that they've worn it at a 25th anniversary dinner. They've worn that suit to multiple weddings. So it was a way to bless them in their personal life.
So slow down on that. So it's a custom suit package with the goal of them not wearing that suit at work. So it's not a suit for work. It's a suit for life. It's a suit to
Correct.
Celebrate. That's beautiful. Because literally, my next question was going to be, what actions have you done? Give us some hints and some help here, some tips on how you've touched their lives, because you said you want their lives to flourish. So this is actually one of them, where you got them a custom suit, and it's for them to wear outside of work, celebrations, wedding, whatever, right?
Yeah, and it blesses me because I get to hear those stories and I get to see the photos. And if you just think about the impact on that person, I mean, a good suit, let's say that's going to last 10, 15 years, and the amount of life. And every time they pull that suit off the rack, it's a reminder of, hey, someone thought I was doing something above and beyond. And so it becomes this amazing circle. Another example, we've got some people that like to cook. So our technician of the year, we found out he was kind of an aspiring chef. And so we got him like a big green egg and got him kind of a custom grilling setup. So again, something that they are into personally. How could we buy them something that they wouldn't normally buy themselves that aligns with one of their personal goals or passions. And that has really been well received for sure.
Wow, where do you get all these ideas from? The custom suit, the green egg, like you're touching lives out there outside of work, which I love.
I guess it's a God-given gift of paying attention. We have good leaders that we talk about knowing our people, and it's just, are you asking the right questions? Do you know what's going on in their life? Do you know what their goals are? And do they have a wedding coming up? Are they getting ready for a baby? Or are they getting ready to send a child off to college? Like what is going on in their world?
Yes.
And how can we step in there? Or maybe they're going out on medical and we need to provide a housekeeper for 90 days because they're normally the person that cleans the home. And so it's just looking for opportunities to step in and have impact in their life for something that they wouldn't normally pay for, or would be something that would relieve a burden.
Yeah. So when you have 20 or 30 employees, it's not that hard to pay attention. But when you have 100 over employees in multiple cities and locations, like, do you have a process for this across the company to capture such learnings? And then how do you do that as you get bigger?
I would say we more have a mindset than we do a process.
Yes.
It's part of those core values. Like another thing we have here is MCIs, which we're doing right now, manager check-ins. And so the driving force behind that is really getting to know your people. So here I am, I'm at corporate, I'm our CEO. There's probably 40 people here that I wasn't even involved in the interview process. So I'm not going to know them as well. But sure as heck, if you're going to be the leader over that team or working with that person, like, you need to know about their personal life. You need to report back wins they have at work. You need to report back if they're having challenges in their life. We've also got chaplaincy as a way to give people a confidential outlet to talk about life and stress and things that are going on. So yes, we have a platform that allows people to shout out. We get to see that, but it's really more of a mindset than a process.
And so the mindset, describe the mindset. Is the mindset caring that people have a flourishing life? Is that the mindset?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it goes back to kind of the Ritz-Carlton model of a lot of those people are enabled with X amount of dollars that they can spend on certain customers to take care of an issue. So that's kind of the mindset I'm talking about of, are you looking out for unique opportunities? And I just happen to be one of those creative guys that if they bring up hey, this person's into this, it's like, well, would they like something like this? Or do they need a golf experience? Can we get them on a golf course they haven't played before? So always looking for something that would be impactful to that person's life is kind of a fun thing for me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I think you've built a fantastic culture. I mean, so, in my book, I actually talk about behavior equals the combination of values and mindset. And you've shared that because I'm looking at your core values here at QDS. And if I get them wrong, please correct me. But I'm reading it: communication, responsiveness, expertise, honesty, integrity, passion, and teamwork. Those are the core values.
Yes.
And then now you have the mindset. You have a mindset of caring that people's lives flourish, and that gives you the behavior you're looking for.
Yeah, and wrap that all up for us as much as we can in the love of Jesus. And so being able to have that faith-forward culture, and not that you have to be a believer to work here, but to me, that's kind of the deciding factor of we're going to live these values out. I, as our CEO, also feel like I have a responsibility to a higher boss. And frankly, and many times I feel like I'm more under a microscope because we've put out the Christian values and that we're going to walk with Jesus. And so it opens up the opportunity for like, well, let's peek behind the curtain and see if you're actually doing what you say you're going to do. And that gets to, are you paying people well? Are you giving them growth opportunities? Are you serving your customers with excellence? Are you trying to extort money out of them? So all those things get wrapped back in how we deliver products and services as a vehicle to human flourishing.
Sean, it's amazing. I've so enjoyed talking to you today. The last question I have for you, and I ask this of all our guests, because this podcast is about helping CEOs have a more joyful and successful life. And I think you would probably use the word flourish. You'd want our CEOs to flourish. So what advice would you like to leave with them that would help them to flourish and have a more, joyful and successful life?
I think be intentional about what happens with your family. And there are lots of excuses we can all give as leaders. The business is always there. There's always decisions that need to be made. So I have tried to be very intentional about participating in everything I can, being at all the ball games, coaching the kid. I have 3 young boys of 12 and twin 6-year-olds. So being intentional with my marriage. And a lot of that gets back to, am I putting my phone down when I'm at home? I am not perfect at it, but am I present in the moments that matter, or am I just there scrolling through email? So to me, going back to that, how do you truly help yourself? You are present and realize that there is only one dad. There can always be another CEO. There can always be another customer complaint, but kids spell love Time.
Yes.
And are you going to be present and intentional about that time, either after 5, or can you make it to the sporting event at 4? And so that would be my suggestion. The second part of that is, it has taken me a lot to understand what fills my cup. And so, with 3 young boys, the weekends are always super busy. So it's not like, oh, I just get to the weekend and then I recharge. It's more like, man, I can't wait to get back to Monday and have a break for a little bit. So truly understanding what fills your cup, whether it's a golf trip with the boys or maybe just a couple hours of quiet time. I struggle with self-care. So that would be my other tip, is really understanding how you take care of you and making that a priority.
Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you so much. Melissa, back to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to, again, thank you, Sean, for being here with us today, sharing that great story. I've never heard kids spell love Time, so I'm going to definitely take that one and hold it dear to me. And until next time, go out there, enjoy this journey we're on. Until next time, bye.